The integrated bracelet chronograph is a curious proposition, especially when it comes to the luxury segment. They're not quite the first thing people gravitate towards when it comes to one of the Holy Trinity classics, and that's exactly why they could be a good indicator as to how deep the rabbit hole the wearer may be. Vacheron Constantin and the Overseas have long played the underdog, and it took insane levels of scarcity and secondary market shenanigans for people to realize that the Overseas, and by extension the chronograph, are just as worthy of attention. The flagship of the third generation of this sub-collection is undoubtedly the combination of a really good blue dial and a pink gold case. You've read the title though, and I clearly say that this isn't just a good blue, it's the best. So let's start with that bold claim, and before I make any actual valid arguments, I've got to start with an excuse. No matter the camera, lens, nor quality of studio setup, this dial is pretty much impossible to capture in its full glory. The lacquering process produces a finish that is at the same time transparent and mirrored, providing an abyss blue backdrop to the floating indices and printing. My favorite bit has to be the thin, light blue pinstripe that surrounds each Azurage sub-dial, serving as a highlighting tone to the darkening gradient of the blue. The pink gold handset is a great addition of warm tones, and it helps legibility too, which may be marred slightly by the reflective nature of all the dial elements. Having said that, one glance at this beauty and you won't care what time it is. Unless, of course, you do. Maybe that's just a me thing. What you might care about, though, is the positioning of the date at the controversial 4:30 position. You'll notice I didn't say this watch has the best blue dial, merely best uses the color, and the mismatched date is the very reason for that in my view. For all the subtlety Vacheron may be going for in their other collections, the Overseas is not that. The time-only 41mm model is already known to wear quite large for its size, and the chronograph expands on that both in actual size and perceived presence. The Maltese cross-inspired case grows to 42.5mm in diameter, though manages to stay relatively thin for an automatic chrono, measuring in at 12.67mm. The 18-karat 5N pink gold is given a royal treatment, with perfect polishing in the case flanks, facets, and sloped portions of the bezel, while the top of the case and bracelet links are vertically brushed. Finally, Vacheron have added a soft iron case ring to help with anti-magnetic protection, bumping it up to 25,000 amperes per meter, or approximately 300 Gauss. That fine brush pattern I mentioned earlier continues all the way to the butterfly clasp of the gold bracelet that's composed of semi-Maltese cross links. There are bevels at the top of each link, accentuating the design, with a polished shoulder running the length of the assembly. Should this be too blingy, you can easily change the strap for one of the two included options. One is a textured grey-blue rubber that plays into the sportiness of the model, while the other flips the script to dressy with a stitched blue leather look. Both are mounted on pink gold buckles, but the real difference maker is the toolless strap exchange system. I cannot tell you how many times I've wanted to swap between straps on its predecessor, and the fiddliness of the whole process just discouraged me completely. When the third generation Overseas Chrono was released, a big selling point was the in-house caliber 5200, a rarity among high-end chronographs. Nowadays, many brands have gone down the in-house route as it's proven a recipe for success. But Vacheron were doing it before it was cool. Regardless of where you stand on the whole in-house debate, let us know in the comments by the way, the 5200 makes a good case for itself, with stunning decoration and a rotor that I'm for once glad is the centerpiece of the movement. Spec-wise, it beats at 4 Hz and has a 52-hour power reserve, and operates the chronograph via a column wheel that bears the Maltese cross, because of course it does. It's not a world beater just purely looking at the stats, but actually looking at it makes the Poinçon de Genève make sense. Surprisingly, the Vacheron Constantin Overseas Chronograph is kind of in a world of its own when it comes to competition, making it an easy recommendation should it hit all the targets you're aiming for. The highlight here is no doubt that stunning dial, made all the more apparent by the brawny case that wears with all the presents you may expect. Yes, the 4:30 date window is a personal nitpick, but I do feel that the brand should have continued with the big date used in the second generation Overseas Chrono. Not only would it be more aesthetically pleasing, but it would be another point of difference over the 41mm Royal Oak chronograph that is this piece's closest competitor. There are tangible benefits here, however. For starters, the Overseas comes standard with its excellent quick exchange bracelet system, allowing you to swap between the 3 included options easily. The appeal of the Overseas isn't just purely objective though. As much as it's become a hyper-popular piece in recent times, it remains the connoisseur's choice, and a bold one at that. The Vacheron Constantin Overseas Chronograph in pink gold is available now as a boutique exclusive, priced at 133,000 Australian dollars. What would be your pick of all the Holy Trinity chronographs? Let us know in the comments below. While you're there, leave a like if you enjoyed the review and subscribe for more videos like this one.